keep your bunk. I used to think a cheap countryside hostel would be the safest kind of quiet. Bunk beds that squeak, kettles that never quite boil, a corkboard full of hikes and lost gloves. I'm 26, cooked by a month of deadlines, and I bought 2 nights of anonymity. Read a paperback, stare at trees, remember that sleep can happen without meetings. My rules were boring on purpose. Don't talk about work, don't check email, pick the bottom bunk so 3 a.m. you doesn't have to climb. One extra superstition from a friend who backpacked through 100 dorms. Dante switch bunks after lights out. Beds are promises, she said. Let morning renegotiate. By 9:18 p.m., the farmhouse hostel had learned its evening voice. Flies deciding to be quiet. A ceiling fan that thinks it's weather. The soda machine in the lounge pretending coins still exist. Check-in was a laminated sheet and a smile from a guy in a knit cap. He tore a receipt off a thermal printer and handed me a sheet set and a key tag. The printer chattered again and coughed out an extra narrow strip with no logo, no total, just do not switch bunks. Along the edge in ghost gray, not matching any clock I own. 3:13 am. The desk clock said 9:19. Printer's old, the guy said. The manager's spell for anything, with teeth. I stuck the strip in my pocket because paper makes rules heavier. Dorm A was 8 beds of humble. Someone had hung a tapestry to pretend privacy into existence. A hand-lettered sign said, "Quiet hours, and please no cooking in dorm." My bunk tag read, "Bunk 6," in a cheerful font. The top bunk's ladder rattled when I tested it. The frame answered with a single tap, like metal, deciding to be polite. In the shared kitchen, a chalkboard offered free pasta, and please label your milk. The picture window showed the last smear of purple over a black line of windbreak trees. In the glass, my reflection lagged half a beat. A second head leaned behind mine, tilted toward my ear, mouth parted like it had reached the first half of don't know it. I blinked at the window until it remembered how to be a window. My phone vibrated with a verification code I hadn't asked for. Then a notification from the booking app I was trying not to open. Change bed? Double tap to confirm. 2 tiny hearts pulsed, as if this was romance instead of furniture. I set the phone screen down and told the countertop no like it was old enough to respect a word. The first odd sound was polite. 2 knuckles tapped the metal of my bunk, measured, not settling. In the corridor, the old house's intercom. Someone had labeled it office, dining, dorm A with fading dymo tape. Clicked to life and breathed like a shell. A voice slid out slow, careful, like each word had to be lowered into place with 2 fingers. Don't switch. Not knit cap guy. Not anyone I could put a name to. The kind of voice museums use to keep hands honest. I took a shower because steam solves grammar. The bathroom mirror fogged. A perfect palm from the wrong side. 5 ovals and a heel, and it slid Brody down an inch before it thinned. My own breath arrived late and made a second story of the same hand. When I wiped the glass, my face wore the look you get when your stomach picks a color. Back in dorm A, a traveler with a headlamp was reading in bunk 2. He lifted a hand in the universal sign for I am friendly, but we both chose a dorm for a reason. I waved back with the universal sign for same. At 10:11, the house changed its mind about sound. not quieter. Aligned. The ceiling fan, the soda machine down the hall, the fridge in the kitchen, even a far-off transformer out by the road. Everything kept the same beat for 4 slow breaths. In that held chord, the bunk ladder breathed a tiny shiver under my hand and settled like a sleeper scratching. My phone buzzed on the bunk shelf. A text from tourists, unknown. I am here, with a tiny map that put the dot bar inside dorm A, then inside my bunk, then another toast slid down. Confirm bed change, 3:13. The hearts pulsed. I toggled airplane mode, the adult version of closing your eyes. Lights out landed at 11, like a rule learned as a song. The last zipper gave up. Someone somewhere laughed into their pillow, the way you do when you just remembered an old joy. In the dark, tap tap traveled from bunk 3 to bunk 7 to bunk 6. My frame, like a small, polite animal, testing each rib of the room. The intercom tried again, softer. Keep your bunk. I was drifting when a whisper built itself out of floorboards. Not language, just the throat of a house practicing. From the top bunk over me, weight arrived without a ladder creak. The mattress springs sank up. Hair, the way a body does when it kneels to look under the bed. I held my breath. Above my face, the slats made a slow, patient tap tap. At 11:37, the hallway light outside the dorm door blinked and held. The door's little wired glass window fogged. On the hall side, a palm blooming higher than anyone S mouth can reach, and up, sliding, a polite inch. The booking app I wasn't using lit through my pillow. Confirm switch, 2 hearts glowed like a dare. In the kitchen, the refrigerator knocked twice, like pipes practicing manners. The soda machine thought about taking $1 and changed its mind. The intercom breathed a bedtime rule. Don't go down. The only down from here was the root cellar, through a door someone had politely labeled staff. Somewhere, a bunk ladder clicked, its wooden toes against the floor as if someone had climbed down wrong. The traveler in bunk 2 whispered, "Hey," and got no answer, which is polite in dorms and impolite in stories. Midnight wasn't an event so much as a decision. The aligned thing happened again. Fan, fridge, transformer, breath. One note that made my heart pick up its pen. In that chord, Ray, hand. You tell yourself it's fabric. Smoothed the sheet at my knee from the hay outside, an inch long. Slide. That felt like the world practicing a way to say Don Tatu without consonants. I put my palm flat on the blanket. From the other side, a palm matched pressure for pressure. Not hard, just there, like a hand through material, asking if rules count in the dark. At 12:06, the intercom clipped on with a new sentence, close enough that the grill in the dorm wall seemed to lean. Don't switch. I lay there in the soft hiss of a dozen sleeping strangers and thought about how beds are the kind of promises that get you home. Down the hall, the front door's bell gave single, patient ding, as if someone had barely brushed it. A car out on the lane burped headlights across the curtains and moved on. The phone on my shelf vibrated with a photo from unknown, my bunk, taken from a height above my own face. The caption, double tap to confirm. I didn't touch the screen. The hearts pulsed anyway. At 12:23, Tap, tap. Moved from mattress to mattress like a lesson. 1, 3, 5, 7. Then back again. Skipping. Sakun. With a child's meanness. The bunks across the room answered with their own small ticks. Metal speaking in an accent of screws. The traveler in bunk 2 sat up. His headlamp haloed dust, stopped on the empty bed across from him, and made the shape of a head. Leaning toward his ear, mouth parted on the first half of don't. He swore softly in a language that made my blood feel bilingual, and lay back down like people do when you realize politeness is survival. At 12:41, the window at the end of the dorm brightened from outside. No car, no moon, just the field, deciding to be glow. In the glass, a palm, pressed from the yard side, 5 ovals and a heel, and a slidma down. The house answered, with the creak that belongs to old stairs. The staff door at the end of the hall shivered against its latch. The intercom offered a mercy. Leave. It closed. I did the brave thing that is nati. I wrote notes on my phone because typing makes rooms behave. Quiet night, I put, because forms love that lie. The letters looked wet for a second, like a thumb had rubbed them. The booking app flashed. 3. And then remembered, midnight isn't a number. My phone showed a new map dot inside. The frame of bunk 6, then behind my shoulder, then the hearts pulsed like a small animal under glass. At 1:06, someone knocked on the dorm door. Tap, tap. Measured and polite. The knitcap guy's voice murmured through wood the way sleep talks. When no one answered, a narrow thermal strip slid under the door slick as a snake. I reached out and pulled it to my face, like you do when receipts make you brave. Keep your bunk, it said, along the edge. 3:13 M. The paper's edges were damp, letters slightly raised like they'd sweated. The traveler in bunk 2 whispered, "Are you awake?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm not switching with it," and we agreed without defining. It. The mod-aligned hum threaded the room again. Fan, fridge, road, ribs. The little nightlight above the power strip brightened and held, then softened like it had practiced humility. At 3:13, because some hours volunteer for jobs, every bunk frame in the room gave one soft knock. Together, like a choir of metal, learning a downbeat. The top bunk above me sank an inch with weight that didn't climb. The empty mattress across the room pulled itself tight as if a body had decided to exist. The intercom spoke the last sentence of the night in the careful voice museums use when they are fond of you. Keep your bunk. My phone screen cooled under my fingers. The hearts stilled. Dawn arrived like a farmer. Up early, not interested in your opinion. Someone's alarm sang about birds. We unmade our beds like polite people. The traveler from bunk 2 showed me his key tag. The cheerful font said, Bunk 13 Nestor, even though the dorm S laminated map skipped from 12 to 14. Our eye contact had all the jokes and none of the laughter. At the desk, knitcap guy scanned the tags and frowned at the thermal strips I slid across to him. He read, "Do not switch bunks," and wrote, "Keep your bunk," like they were a pesticide brand he hadn't approved. "Printer's old," he said, and rubbed the edge of the paper with his thumb, like he could erase the hour. I checked out a day early, because the point of a break is to come back intact. On the bus, the countryside threw trees at the window, the way a dog brings sticks to your door. My phone flipped to 3:13, and back around. A curve like a number had tried on my reflection. Nights at home now, my bed frame knocks twice. Some weeks at 3.13, exact and polite, like a roommate with no feet. The bathroom mirror. Fogs. A thumb width higher than my breath, while a palm clears a coin-sized circle from the wrong side, and work out the slides. An inch before, the glass decides it has manners. When it happens, I keep to my side of the mattress and say in the steady voice the hostel taught me, "We keep our bunk." For a long, thin moment, the room hums in one note, like a dorm full of strangers learning how to sleep kindly. A head leans near my left ear and practices the first half of Dante, and then the pipes remember water. The hour lets go of its borrowed name, and whatever learned my weight a half beat above me chooses someone else's bed to negotiate with, and leaves mine to be the promise it was sold as.
If you survived this far, leave your like to prove you are not afraid.